Hello, ghouls and boils. It's Sarah with She Never Slept, and I'm here with my monthly monthly column, digging through the bins. Cthulhu is here with us. Say hi. Yes, those are all of the souls he sucked this week. I have been gone for a while. I know it's been more than a month since my last column. But I was doing something very scary, a lot scarier than anything on this website. I was working at the Democratic National Convention. So now that the politics are done, and my voting will be done very soon, I can get back to focusing on the site and bringing you some more content. I know you're excited. This time, I'm going to talk to you about a really awesome collection. They're called graphic classics, and they do a number of authors, but this particular one is on H.P. Lovecraft, and they cover The Shadow over Innsmouth, Dreams in the Witch House, The Shadow Out of Time, The Cats of Ulthar, a personal favorite of mine. Give props to Lisa K. Weber for adapting it well. I just adore it. The Terrible Old Man, Sweet Ermengarde, and Herbert West's Reanimator, which is illustrated by, it's really well done, and it's illustrated by 4 different illustrators: Richard Corbin, Rick Geary, J.B. Bonavart, and Mark A. Nelson. So this is just an incredible book to have, just because of the massive amount of talent in it. Let me show you a little bit here. I'm going to show you my favorite, The Cats of Ulthar. If you've never read this story, well, if you've never read Lovecraft at all, that's the one that I recommend people read first. In my opinion, it is one of the best revenge stories out there. It's one of the things that got me hooked, which is weird because most people get hooked on the Cthulhu mythos, and this doesn't really tie into that too much. It definitely ties into the arcane. Wow, Cthulhu mythos. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Lovecraft, you're probably unfamiliar as well with the Cthulhu mythos to some extent. Most people who read science fiction and horror or watch it are familiar with things that are done in the Lovecraftian mythos. Just like this cute little Cthulhu here. You know, these are all over the place, so everybody knows it. Well, not everybody, but most people in the fandom know at least what Cthulhu looks like. There have been so many different interpretations in film of Lovecraft, and now, in the past 10-15 years or so, there have been more and more comics coming out that are Lovecraftian, and I personally really enjoy the marriage of the art with the story. It's very interesting to see the interpretations, and these are direct adaptations, so nobody's rewritten the stories. They've just done the art to go with the stories. So never fear, you're not getting something that is not what Lovecraft wrote. This is all Lovecraft through the eyes of different artists, and I have to show this. Maxim Crumb, who is, you probably are more familiar, if any of you are familiar with art, probably more familiar with R. Crumb, who's his brother, but he does this fantastic piece that they put in the end here of the book. Is that pretty clear? Put in the end, I'm talking to the man behind the curtain. They put it in the end of the book, just to go along with some of the other artwork. I just can't say enough about the imagery in this book, but you can't beat the tales that go on. Like The Shadow Out of Time is, it's so interesting how different artists interpret different stories in different ways. I mean, as you can tell, this looks nothing like what Lisa K. Weber did. So you're getting a book chock full of great Lovecraftian stories and really, really great artists. I highly, highly recommend you picking this up. Like I said, it's Graphic Classics. They have done a number of authors. They've done Arthur Conan Doyle, they've done Edgar Allan Poe. I could rattle a list off if my brain were working correctly, but I don't remember all of them. I do know that you could probably dig through the bins at your comic book shop, maybe find it, but you can definitely find it on places like Amazon. I recommend buying it on ArkhamBazaar.com, and for those of you who are unfamiliar, that's ArkhamBazaar.com. I know they have several of these collections. If you're already a Lovecraft fan, this is a must-have for your library. Must-have for your library. If you are not a Lovecraft fan or very unfamiliar, this is a great way to start. You get the visual, you get the actual stories, not interpreted. I just, again, can't say enough about it. It's really reasonably priced, and you know they say it's for all ages 12 to adults. So don't give it to your little kid just because it's comics. They may be a little taken aback by some of the stuff that is encompassed in these pages. So there is a series of Lovecraft comics for children. So if you go to the cloud tag and either hit on H.P. Lovecraft or Lovecraftian, that'll pull up everything we have on the website about H.P. Lovecraft, including books, comics, movies, festivals, everything. So if you're looking for a way to get your kid into it, there is a series for that as well. It's amazing how many different pieces of Lovecraftian fiction there are out there. My husband spoke in his column of pastiche, and the Cthulhu mythos. There has been a huge number of pastiche books and stories written in this universe. I definitely recommend checking out anything at all that you find that is in the Lovecraft universe. Some of it is very good, some of it is not so good, but digging through and finding the little gems, it's pretty priceless. Speaking of price, anything edited by Robert Price or written by Robert Price gets my highest recommendation. There's a lot of it out there, so go ahead and Google him too, or you can enter in the search bar on my website, and there's some information about Robert himself. I did an interview with him as well. So, yeah, that's it for this edition of Digging Through the Bins. I'm not sure what I'm going to find next time, which I promise will be a month away. I promise this time. I will not stay away so long. But I'm sure it will be something great. Maybe something spooky. Maybe something science fiction-y, science fiction-ish, science-y. I don't know. One of those words. But thank you all for watching, and, you know, I hope to see you again soon. So does Cthulhu. And as always, enjoy, my fiends.